spike reaches a new high. Tough rules now in place and more restrictions possible as authorities try to stop the spread. A woman charged with murder accused of running down her ex-partner in a car park after an argument. Confusion over the future of unemployment benefits, the government refusing to say what comes next for those on JobKeeper. The New South Wales Labor MP at the centre of a foreign interference scandal to be thrown out of Parliament. And the US hits a staggering milestone, 2.5 million corona cases. President Trump's response? A game of golf.
This is 10 News First with Chris Barth.
Victoria is implementing tough new measures as COVID-19 cases increase again. Testing will now be compulsory for return travellers in hotel quarantine. Anyone who refuses will be forced to stay for 10 more days. Victoria recorded 49 new cases today. The state government is considering increasing restrictions, including stay-at-home orders for residents in Melbourne's hotspots. But there is some good news. A less invasive Australian-first testing method is now being used.
Instead of an uncomfortable nose and throat swab, those most at risk of catching coronavirus now have an easier option. For the first time, saliva samples are being collected at COVID-19 hotspots across Melbourne and at quarantine hotels.
That's a first for our country, and I think it'll be leading the world in many ways.
The Victorian Premier says the new collection method will see fewer returned travellers refuse to take the test. Most of those who've declined have been children, but Daniel Andrews has made testing in hotel quarantine compulsory anyway. Those who refuse a test will be forced to stay an extra 10 days.
I don't think too many people are going to make that choice.
Victoria has 49 new cases of coronavirus, but a revision of 8 false positive cases brings the overall increase to 41. 2 schools have been impacted by cases linked to a family outbreak, while 1 case has been linked to an outbreak at a Coles distribution centre.
We'll need to review that in detail today. It's a big facility. It has a lot of staff.
The Royal Melbourne Hospital and parts of Flinders Street Station have also undergone thorough cleaning after a nurse and a Metro Trains worker were confirmed positive yesterday. In suburbs where coronavirus is spreading fastest, religious leaders have joined the push to encourage screening.
So we are an army of faith leaders that are knocking on doors as we speak, and we're encouraging everyone to do this test.
And all 64 military officers deployed to testing sites are now collecting samples after undergoing pandemic training. Victoria has been processing up to 22,000 tests a day, but that capacity has increased to at least 25,000 with the help of labs in other states, including New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia and Tasmania. The government says suburban lockdowns may be considered.
And just because you want it to be over doesn't mean it is.
But roadblocks out of coronavirus hotspots would be a last resort. Estelle Lewis for 10 News First.
While Victoria could be seeing tough restrictions reintroduced, South Australia is about to remove some. Chloe Burris is in Adelaide. Chloe, what's changing?
Well, as far as rule changes go, this one is pretty easy to follow. From tomorrow, all South Australian venues can have 1 person per 2 square metres. I'm at the 7 Stars Hotel in the Adelaide CBD. Tomorrow, they'll be allowed to have 180 patrons. That's double what they can have tonight. And finally, patrons won't have to sit down to have a drink. For most venues, this means they can have up to 50% of their normal pre-COVID capacity, and there'll be no cap on numbers. So that means larger venues like Adelaide Oval, even nightclubs, could open so long as SA Health signs off on their COVID-19 management plan. Now, the next step for South Australia, opening the borders on July 20, but there's now a big question mark over that.
We are very concerned now about what is happening in Victoria. The numbers seem to be going up, not down. We've got 3 weeks until we consider opening those borders, but we won't be opening them if it's going to send South Australia backwards.
And those concerns are echoed right throughout the South Australian community. We've now gone 33 days without any new cases.
Thanks, Chloe. Chloe Burris there live from Adelaide. A man has been killed, allegedly by his ex-girlfriend, in a shocking act of domestic violence. Payman Thagapur died after he was run down by a car and pinned to a brick wall in the car park of his Sydney apartment block. The woman behind the wheel has now been charged with murder.
Overcome with emotion, a man grieves his murdered mate.
He was best friend like my brother.
Payman Thagapur was allegedly killed at the hands of ex-partner Jacqueline Musa.
He was the legend. He was, like, as I said, affectionate. He was kind, very nice person.
Police claim the former lovers had a fiery argument inside Mr Thagapur's apartment block in Wentworth Point in Sydney's west. It allegedly turned violent when Musa drove her car at the 30-year-old, pinning him against a brick wall in the basement.
I heard a loud bang, sounded like something hit the building. Then not long after that, sirens came blasting down the street.
Police were first on scene and attempted CPR, but Mr Thagapur couldn't be saved.
Yeah, the scene was obviously very chaotic and quite traumatic.
Musa was also treated for a fractured wrist before being arrested and charged with murder. Witnesses to the crash say she appeared emotionless at the scene.
There was no shock. There was not really any anger either, just, something that just happened.
Police have told 10 News First that there is no documented history of violence or threats between the pair. It would seem this alleged outburst was as shocking as it was sudden. Musa's family was entirely unaware of the incident.
What sort of person is Jacqueline?
She's my mother.
Yeah.
She's normal. There's no murder. What are you talking about?
The 44-year-old didn't appear when mentioned in court today, but police are confident their case against her is a strong one.
The entire incident was captured on CCTV and a number of witnesses who were in the apartment complex.
People who'll no doubt struggle to put the horror of this alleged domestic violence attack behind them. Michael Hammond for 10 News First.
And if you or someone you know is a victim of domestic violence, there is support. You can call the 24-hour hotline 1800-RESPECT, 1800 737 732. The Social Services Minister has been forced to reject reports unemployment benefits will be raised by $75 a week. Instead, the financial future of those on JobKeeper remains up in the air.
Australians woke up on Sunday to the news the government is considering a $75 permanent increase to welfare payments. Welcome news because the current New Start.
It is an inadequate payment. It doesn't allow people to live with dignity.
Everybody knows in their heart, including the Prime Minister, that we cannot go back to the brutality of trying to live on just $40 a day.
But the report in the News Corp papers was swiftly shot down.
Given I'm the Social Services Minister, you'd like to think that I'd be aware of it. So it's factually incorrect. And right now, my focus, as the whole government's focus is on, is to help Australians to get through this pandemic.
The leak clearly didn't come from the responsible minister.
The Morrison government needs to stop playing cruel games with over 2 million people in Australia.
Every day, the government is being questioned about the future of JobKeeper beyond its September cut-off date.
At the time, we said they were targeted, they were temporary, they were measured, and they still are, and we are working in that environment of transition at the moment. We are not looking at the long term.
The government has received a final draft of a review into JobKeeper, but it's keeping a lid on its findings until the end of July. This is when the Treasurer will announce what lies ahead. But the opposition wants answers now.
You can't keep a secret like that until after the Eden Monaro by-election. Scott Morrison needs to come clean.
And Stella Todorovic joins me now. Stella, there's been a development today in the foreign interference investigation into a New South Wales Labor MP.
Yeah, that's right, Chris. Shaket Moselmain has already been thrown out of the New South Wales Labor Party, but his boss today, Jodie McKay, the New South Wales Labor leader, announced she'll be moving to suspend him from New South Wales Parliament when it returns in August. This all came to a head when federal agents raided his home and his office here at Parliament House on Friday, and over alleged links to the Chinese government and also allegations of foreign interference. Yesterday, the New South Wales government called for his suspension, and Jodie McKay today supported that motion, but this is what she had to say.
This is a Labor issue and it needs to be the Labor Party that fixes this issue. Resigning from Parliament is up to him at this particular point. Only Mr Mosselman knows the extent of this investigation.
This is an ongoing investigation, Chris, and no charges have been laid. It's really important to stress that. However, Jodie McKay today reiterated on multiple occasions that as Labor leader, she reserves the right to make further decisions as the situation unfolds.
Thanks, Stella. Stella Todorovic joining us there. A Queensland senator has been caught out using a pseudonym to promote herself on social media. Amanda Stoker has admitted to making several comments under the name Mandy Jane. She used the profile to defend herself from criticism on her official Facebook page, often referring to herself in the third person as the senator. It wasn't the most cunning ruse, though. Mandy's obviously short for Amanda, and Jane is the senator's middle name. In the US, a Black Lives Matter rally has turned deadly, with a man opening fire into crowds, killing one person. Hundreds of people had gathered in Louisville, Kentucky to protest against the police killing of a black woman inside her home in March. In the afternoon, a man was filmed firing more than a dozen shots at protesters. Police confirmed one man was killed and another person injured, but there are still no details about the gunman or whether he is still on the loose. The US has passed a terrifying new COVID-19 milestone, clocking up 2.5 million cases. Last night we told you about Florida recording a whopping 9,000 new infections. Well, tonight it's even worse, which means restrictions lifted there are now being reimposed.
Just weeks after opening up, parts of Florida are closing down. 9,500 cases today, another dismal high. The Miami mayor is considering a stay-at-home order. He's already ordered beaches to close for the Independence Day long weekend and told bars to stop selling alcohol.
A lot of them been packed and it's really been out of hand.
Across America, positive cases today hit 2.5 million. The death toll passed 125,000. Nevada, South Carolina and Georgia today joining Florida, recording record numbers of new infections.
Did the reopening happen too early?
I know there's a temptation to associate the new cases in the Sun Belt with reopening, but it's important to remember that states like Florida and like Texas actually began to open up in early May.
The president was on the golf course saying nothing publicly about the pandemic, instead using Twitter to post wanted posters of Black Lives Matter protesters who vandalised property outside the White House. A week on from Trump's controversial rally in Tulsa, several campaign staff have now been quarantined and told they can't come back until they test negative for COVID-19.
And I don't hold rallies because it is the reason why we're in such trouble. I've gone out responsibly. I go out and I wear this mask when I go out.
And in California today, Disneyland staff rallied in their cars, demanding more protection when the theme park eventually reopens.
The testing, we want on-property testing. We want temperatures taken for cast and guests. We want guests to wear masks.
They are now law in some parts of the US, but it's clear many people still don't want to wear them. Daniel Sutton for 10 News First.
Still to come, the latest on the search for a sailor who fell overboard off the coast of Queensland. Also, the researchers making progress treating one of our deadliest cancers. Plus, cancel culture strikes again. Find out which former US president is being removed. And we'll take you on an exclusive tour of the country's newest national park.
It's the Elimination Challenge Reynolds didn't see coming.
Classic dishes from around the world.
I am not a classic cook at all. I put bits and pieces together and modernize it. It's going to be a tough one for me today.
And for the dessert king, his classic dessert will turn into a classic mistake.
You haven't mentioned sponge. Are you making a sponge?
What sponge? Is there a sponge?
Does it need a sponge?
Yeah.
Oh no. I think I screwed up.
Things keep screwing up for me.
I hate this feeling right now. I could be going home.
Trying not to give up. I'm so stressed.
This has been the most nerve-wracking that I've ever felt. I think I'm going home.
Will Reynolds go? The must-see elimination, 7:30 tonight.
Keep everyone entertained. Add on Xbox All Access and play for 3 months on us. Visit telstra.com/Xbox today.
Been to Woolies.
Get your Woolies worth with great specials, like 24-pack Coca-Cola varieties, just $15.90 each. That's half price.
That's why I pick Woolies.
At Rest, we're always working to protect your super. We keep our fees low so more of your money stays where it belongs, in your super. It's part of our commitment to you.
What happens to all the dirt on your dishes? It flows in your dishwasher, affecting its cleaning performance. Add Finish In-Wash Dishwasher Cleaner, the only one that cleans your dishwasher while it cleans your dishes. Try Finish In-Wash Dishwasher Cleaner today.
At GIO, we know that when it comes to insurance, everyone loves to save. And now you can receive 12 months free roadside assistance when you take out a new GIO comprehensive car insurance policy. Oh dear, well, that's not good. Ah, that's better. 12 months free roadside assistance. It's just one of the many ways you can save with GIO. Call 13 10 10 today. You know with GIO.
Getting back on the road is something we're all looking forward to. And at Toyota, we're here to help you do just that.
Get 3.9% finance across the Corolla hatch range. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Shortcut home?
The shortest route home is 7.3 kilometres.
You don't need Australia's best network until you do.
It's a feeling I haven't ever felt with someone before.
I'm falling in love with you more and more every single day.
Working from home. The big payout after a landmark ruling.
You must ensure the safety of your employees, regardless of where they are located.
And it could affect anyone. Are you at risk? Exclusive on 10 News First, Monday at 5.
4 people have been assaulted and a vehicle has been stolen during a home invasion in Sydney's West. Police arrived at the house just before 2 o'clock this morning after reports a group of unknown men had forced their way in. 3 men and a woman who live at the home were injured. 2 were taken to hospital for treatment. A major search and rescue operation is continuing off the coast of central Queensland tonight to find a 54-year-old man who fell from a yacht. He went overboard off Busted Head, south of Gladstone, yesterday morning. A distress call was made around 10 o'clock. Water police, the rescue chopper and volunteer vessels are all part of the search, but bad weather is making it difficult. Police have caught up with a driver they say tried to run from the scene of a crash in Adelaide. The 24-year-old's accused of rear-ending a car at speed before going on to smash into another vehicle further down the road and fleeing. 6 people escaped with minor injuries. The driver's in hospital. So far, no charges have been laid. Charity events have been put on hold during the pandemic and donations are much harder to come by, but one group has found an innovative alternative. Hundreds of real estate professionals from across the country are gearing up for an annual charity bike ride, but the training is a little different this year.
Cycling through rural Thailand, raising money for local orphanages without leaving the house.
I think with COVID, we've had to think outside the box in terms of being able to bring the ride into the homes of people.
Hundreds of keen cyclists from all over the country have been dialling in for a virtual 500-kilometre ride throughout June, an innovative substitute for the real thing, put on hold during the pandemic.
It also gives people who wouldn't normally have a chance to go to Thailand the opportunity to experience what the charity is about and what they do.
They're getting ready for the annual digital live ride, raising money for Hands Across the Water. funding education for underprivileged children in northeast Thailand.
5 days of riding, 100 kilometres every single day. And so far, we've raised close to $1 million.
And if the travel ban is still in place when it's time for the big ride in April, they're prepared to do the whole thing virtually. The digital live ride is specifically for real estate professionals, one of the many industries hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. But organisers say that's why it's a better time than ever to get involved.
Enables the real estate leaders, businesses to obviously self-develop, at the same time giving the kids over in Thailand education.
It's not a ride for athletes, it's a ride for ordinary people trying to do something extraordinary.
To sign up or donate, visit their website. Leah Harris for 10 News First.
Cyber safety will get a $10 million boost after reports of online abuse tripled this year. A government survey found that during the pandemic, Australians are using the internet more. There's an increase in negative online experiences, especially the sharing of intimate photos without consent. The federal funding will bolster the eSafety website and support teams trying to combat image-based abuse and cyberbullying. Lung cancer is one of the most deadly cancers, often only diagnosed in its late stages. The best treatment is only effective in a third of cases, but there's hope that trials of new combinations of drugs could help improve survival rates.
Jennifer is one of the lucky ones. Given just months to live, it's been 3.5 years since she was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer.
My initial tumour in my lungs was about the size of an orange. Now they're not even sure whether there's this tumour left, whether it's just scar tissue, and it's about the size of my thumbnail.
But her story isn't the norm. The most common treatment for lung cancer is platinum-based chemotherapy. In most people, the drugs don't work.
It tells you a lot about how aggressive this disease is, that the best drugs that we have are only really good for 30% of the patients.
But new research is discovering why. In the lab, scientists have found lung cancer cells resistant to the chemo had high levels of an enzyme called P70S6K. By blocking or reducing the enzyme, they found the cell became more sensitive to the treatment.
That in the future we would be able to use this information to decide whether or not a patient would benefit from an additional drug that would block the activity of this enzyme.
But they also found this combination of drugs would not be effective in some patients where the cells had mutated, which doctors could test for before starting a therapy. This new research paves the way for clinicians to be precise in the drugs they use in which patients, with hopes eventually people with lung cancer will have treatments tailor-made just for them. A key step forward in the search for a cure. Sydney Peed for 10 News First.
Joining us now with the latest on the weather is Amanda Jason. And Amanda, wild weather's hitting the west of the country.
Certainly is, Chris. We're seeing damaging wind gusts of up to 100 kilometres per hour and very heavy rain as well. Now, that often signals what could be coming eastward. But at the moment, we've got a dominant high pressure system sitting over the southeast of the country, and that will help to deflect any strong cold fronts, at least for the next couple of days. It is, though, allowing for very chilly overnight temperatures, and it is also directing a southerly airflow up the eastern seaboard and even bringing through some onshore wind, so that's driving in a few showers. Across Brisbane today, around the CBD, we generally saw less than 1 millimetre, but we've seen 8 millimetres of rain at Maroochydore, and the northern rivers of New South Wales has also seen some heavy rain with up to 30 millimetres in Ballina. Now, today in the southeast of the country, we woke to a very chilly day. We dipped down to 1.7 degrees in Melbourne. That's actually the coldest night we have had in almost 2 years, warming to just 13 degrees today. We got to 11 in Hobart, 17 in Adelaide. Sydney made it to a top of 16 degrees, and in those cool southerly winds, even Brisbane only made it to 18 degrees, which is 4 degrees below the average. How long will these cold temperatures stick around? It will be a chilly night in Melbourne, but I'll have more details of what's ahead for you, Chris, at 5 to 6.
Thanks, Amanda. See you then. Up next, what Donald Trump did to upset the Rolling Stones. Plus, the police officer injured in a Glasgow stabbing rampage tells his story. Also, some of the world's biggest music stars take on COVID-19. And why a global tech giant is going after a plucky Aussie startup.
Okay, guys, repeat with me. El nuevo salón os va a encantar.
Just forget it. The new living room, you're gonna love it.
Bienvenidos. Welcome to the new living room.
You've dreamed of places to go. You promised one day. Now, one day is here. New adventures. Wide open spaces. So, you can't travel the world right now. So what? New South Wales is here for you. Let's all reboot 2020. One unforgettable experience at a time. Now's the time to love New South Wales.
As credit to you, here's up to $120 credit from us. Add any selected month-to-month mobile plan with Vodafone and get the credit you deserve over 12 months. Find out more at vodafone.com.au. Ready?
I deserve better than swipe left or swipe right. That's why I trust eHarmony.
No one can connect you with high-quality singles like eHarmony. That's why every 14 minutes, someone finds love on eHarmony. Start free today.
This is how legends are made.
The legendary Toyota Supra is back. Experience the exhilaration for yourself. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Australia's Gary Flynn went into the 200-metre wheelie bin final the rank outsider. What happened next made elite average games history.
Quickly into the bend. Oh no! The Dutchman's hit the deck. There's a pile-up. Call the council. Flynn's hit the front. Our man's going to win. Gold for Australia. Have some of that.
Incredible! They'll make TV ads out of this, JB.
Another make-it-look-easy moment from Sportsbet.
It's your last chance to save at Amart Furniture's end of financial year sale. With huge deals like $700 off this 3-seater lounge and $200 off this queen bed. Hurry, last chance. I got it at Amart.
Tonight, I'll be eating the spicy lamb kofta.
Is he lip syncing?
Me? Nah. Delicious. Thanks, mate. I might not be right for this band.
Pay less every day at The Good Guys. $200 off this Sony TV. This Hisense fridge only $445. This Samsung soundbar only $349. And this NutriBullet only $69. Plus, loads more only at The Good Guys.
I think I screwed up. I hate this feeling right now. I think I'm going home.
Will Reynolds go tonight?
India has passed 500,000 known COVID-19 infections, with the capital New Delhi the epicentre. About a third of the city's total number of cases have been reported in the past week, putting dozens of hospitals at breaking point. And if that wasn't enough, part of Delhi is dealing with an unprecedented outbreak of locusts as India experiences its worst invasion of the insects in decades. Millions of people are back indoors in China's Hubei province, but this time because of deadly flooding. The former coronavirus epicentre is among multiple central and southwestern provinces hit by flash flooding and landslides that have left more than 80 dead. Meteorologists are forecasting more torrential rain over areas inhabited by tens of millions of people. Princeton University says it will remove the name of former US President Woodrow Wilson from several of its buildings because of his policies on race. Wilson was president during World War I and helped establish the League of Nations, which aimed to create world peace. But he also supported segregation and barred black students from studying at Princeton as the university's president. He's the latest historic leader removed from a public monument after calls to end racism following the death of George Floyd. The Rolling Stones are threatening to sue.
Suddenly, when the hotel workers,
The knifeman was eventually shot dead by police. His 6 victims In the Rock Johnson, the global goal event followed a historic $10 billion.
The competitor's lower price on the same stock item will beat it by 10%. Shop at Bunnings wherever you are and whenever you want.
As credit to you, here's up to $120 credit from us. Add any selected month-to-month mobile plan with Vodafone and get the credit you deserve over 12 months. Find out more at vodafone.com.au. Ready?
Join AHM Hospital and Extras Direct and you'll get 6 weeks free. Plus, we'll waive any 2 and 6 month waits on extras.
Yay!
Whether you're a single, a couple, or a family. It's that simple. That doesn't look very simple. Offer ends June 30. Find out more and join AHM Direct today. AHM, the simple bit.
Hot Milo. None of that crunchy stuff on top, thank you. Just smooth and hot. The way us Hot Milo drinkers like it. What side are you on?
The world's changed around us. We're now more focused on our health and well-being. But in a time when we're feeling more stressed and access to a healthy, balanced lifestyle has changed, we may not be feeling our best. That's why I'm adding BioNatural's Stress Formula and B Complex with activated B vitamins to help support my daily routine. BioNaturals. The natural choice.
Chloe and Zoe are twins and Amy customers, so you have the same taste.
We love our HD, LED, LCD, 4K, Pixel TVs. Oh, and Barney and Rubble love the dog channel.
Do you choose to save now or later on your insurance?
Later.
Buy a home or car insurance policy and Amy Flexi Premiums lets you vary your excess to save now or later. Choose a higher excess to save now or choose a lower excess to save at claim time.
You're with Amy.
Meet the revolutionary Sleeping Duck mattress reimagined by...
The open space for the Lions has heated areas to keep the pair warm.
I think I screwed up. I hate this feeling right now. I think I'm going home.
Will Reynolds go tonight?
Good evening. Adelaide remains winless and rooted to the bottom of the AFL ladder after being thumped by Brisbane. Despite being woefully inaccurate in front of goal, the Lions won by 37 points, although co-captain Dane Zorko suffered a calf injury.
The struggling Adelaide began as they left last week, badly.
Little flick back by Berry, a toe off the deck. This might work. It does.
They were a bit more committed, but their defence still broke down.
And that is crazy. McStay alone in the goal square, break down the closed defence.
McCarthy's second goal came after a wonderfully courageous mark.
Great mark, back with the flight, McCarthy.
Then they started to motor. Cameron found the radar.
That's a better kick.
The only downside was another injury to Dane Zorko. Brisbane then started to smash the living daylights out of the hapless Crows.
Bends it around the body. Brilliant.
And by half-time, they led by 40, and it should have been more. After the break, Tex Walker kicked a couple, and Crocker's bouncing goal made it 4 in a row.
Down to Crocker, bounced it and bounced it home.
The Lions couldn't hit the side of a barn, but normal service resumed in the final term, and the Lions ran away with it.
Bailey on the move. Perfect start.
Some fancy footwork from Cameron set up another. Rich's long goal, putting the game out of reach.
One up, Rich, straight down the spine, and it all started with you, Charlie.
Cameron started putting on a show.
Charlie, hugely.
The Lions had a comfortable 37-point win, but had 22 more scoring shots. It should have been a belting. Rob Waters for 10 News First.
Fremantle captain Nat Fyfe's hamstring injury suffered against the Gold Coast could rule him out of the derby in 3 weeks. While Carlton added to Essendon's week of turmoil with a 1-point win, reigning premiers the Tigers were punished by a former teammate, and the Suns made it 3 in a row in a tough one against the Eagles.
Putting on the glad wrap to save the skipper for another day. Nat Fyfe looks set to miss games against Adelaide and Melbourne.
Oh, he felt some tightness in his hamstring. The docs think he's got a
hopefully low-grade hamstring strain.
If Fife is out for 3 matches, he'll miss the derby against the Eagles. The Suns haven't been gracious hosts. They've smashed everyone in their hub. A 3-week run that's turned 18-year-old Matt Rowell into a star.
He's just having the time of his life out there. Probably pinching himself that he's out there. And you just love that he's so humble.
Essendon's Jacob Townsend earned the chance to win their clash with Carlton, but it was a long shot.
Can he win the game for the Bombers? Jacob Townsend, has it got the journey? Just touched on the line.
They went down by a point, but a great effort from the Bombers, considering Connor McKenna's COVID dramas.
Obviously, it's not ideal to have your players locked away at home from Saturday afternoon through to Tuesday afternoon. I don't know how that affects you overall in terms of how they felt.
Jack Silvani suffered a broken rib and bruising on the lung thanks to Zach Merritt, but the Blues are breathing easier. 2 from 4, their best start in 8 years.
I think our players are starting to really believe in themselves and each other, which is a powerful thing.
The Butler did it. Against Richmond, Dan Butler was let go by the Premiers last year, so his 3 goals for the Saints must have felt special. St Kilda's 26-point win has Damien Hardwick sounding like the 2016 version of himself.
So we've got to figure out what we've got to do as a coaching group, as a playing group to get ourselves playing better. We're well off our best at the moment, well off our best.
Bence Hammerley for 10 News First.
Parramatta could lose star halfback Mitchell Moses for a lengthy period after he injured his calf against Canberra. The Eels won a Golden Point thriller, but the Playmakers' early exit added to the round 7 injury ward.
The Bankwest injury curse continued. Star Eel Mitchell Moses, the latest victim.
It's his calf. Yeah, it's just what it is. The turf's got nothing to do with it. He was just backpedaling to get back on side, I think.
At 24 all, going into Golden Point would be problematic for a team without their field goal specialist, Hale King Gutho.
He's got it this time, and King Gutho has got the first field goal of his career.
We got pushed into Golden Point. We showed some real good signs.
The Green Machine forced extra time with 2 tries in 4 minutes, but the coach wants last year's heroics forgotten.
Not the team we were last year. We'll never be that team last year, so you can put that to rest. We haven't got time to panic.
Parramatta at times seeing red.
Oh, hang on, what's going on here? Well, they just don't like redheads, Parramatta. They got something against Raggers. He's almost in tears, Corey. He's ready to go. He's emotional.
The Raiders forward succumbing to a foot injury. Brisbane were embarrassed by the Titans, slipping to their 5th straight loss as it all came crashing down. But the Broncos coach isn't looking over his shoulder.
Yeah, if the board call me in and ask for an explanation, I'll give them.
22-0 down at the break. The Bronx Blues compounded by crowd boos.
That probably hurts my feelings the most. And your home crowd, they come to support my family there. All their boys' are family there for the first time.
Well, they're booing the players, or were they booing the players? I didn't say that, so I thought it might have been the referees at halftime.
Another headache for Seabold. Joe Offahengawi is facing a 2-week ban for this shoulder charge. Michael Kane for 10 News First.
Holden's Nick Percat has won his first supercars race since 2016, pipping Jamie Whincup in his 500th career start. It was the Brad Jones Racing driver's 3rd career win, while series leader Scott McLaughlin still managed to grab a podium finish. Normal service resumed in the following race, McLaughlin opening up a 49-point gap at the top of the championship.
He's back to work in fine style. Scott McLaughlin grabs 100 points at Sydney Motorsport Park for what was a very profitable weekend.
We can do as many cartoon races as we want, but there's nothing like going out there for the very first time and revving the engine off the start. The main thing was solid results, solid qualifying, and that's exactly what we did. We ticked a lot of boxes this weekend.
The weekend's racing was the sport's return from a COVID-19 hiatus. The series now moves to Winton in Victoria in a fortnight. Wolves have stayed in the hunt for a Champions League berth after beating Aston Villa 1-0 in the Premier League. Wolves are just 2 points behind 4th-placed Chelsea, while this cracking goal from Todd Cantwell wasn't enough for Norwich to upset Manchester United in the FFA Cup.
Oh, he's done it! Well, he's been threatening it right from the word go this afternoon.
Norwich, in its first Cup quarter-final since 1992, was reduced to 10 men when Tim Closer was red-carded. Late in extra time, the Red Devils snatched a 2-1 win and a semi-spot thanks to a goal from skipper Harry Maguire. American Brandon Todd is the man to catch at the Travellers Championship after firing a 9-under par 61 in the third round. At 18 under, he's 2 shots in front of Dustin Johnson heading into the final day. There was a COVID-19 scare for Australia's Jason Day, though.
Jason Day was feeling under the weather, so they ran a test on him at 6 o'clock this morning. That test has already come back, and he's been notified that he did test negative.
Phil Mickelson went from enjoying the overnight lead to sitting 6 shots adrift after shooting a 1 over par 71. And the rest of the day's sports news and results are coming up just after 6. Chris, see you then.
We'll see you then. Thanks, Ros. Coming up next, we'll update the top stories, and Amanda Jason has all the weather detail.
It's the Elimination Challenge. Reynolds didn't see coming.
Oh no. I think I screwed up. I hate this feeling right now. I'm so stressed. I think I'm going home.
Will Reynolds go? 7:30 tonight.
A lot has changed in 15 years, but our low admin fees haven't. Add our strong long-term returns, and that equals more super for you. Host Plus. Wherever life takes you, we go with you.
Instant asset write-off this tax time at Harvey Norman. Buy and install an item less than $150,000 before June 30, and eligible businesses may claim an immediate deduction in this year's tax return. This is a huge incentive. Let us put together a package to suit your business needs. But hurry, buy and install items before June 30 to claim in this year's tax return. Instant asset write-off this tax time at Harvey Norman. Tax law is complex. Before you purchase, seek professional advice to determine whether your business is eligible.
Now's a great time to sort your health cover with NIB. Join any combined hospital and extras cover online by June 30 and you'll get a virtual Visa e-gift card valued up to $400. Join NIB today. It's worth it.
Is So Good almond milk the better milk for you? It's dairy-free and full of calcium. So Good almond milk is packed with vitamins, and unsweetened varieties have no added sugar. Feel good inside and out and make today so good.
Oh dear, it looks like she's not feeling too good. A cup of Lemsip Max should do the trick. Its all-in-one formula fights 8 major cold and flu symptoms. Try the power of Lemsip, now available in capsules.
You wash loads, but do you ever wash your washing machine? Every load leaves behind grime and, what's that smell? PinoClean Washing Machine Cleaner removes 99.9% of germs, leaving it clean and fresh for longer. It's not clean unless it's PinoClean.
Shortcut home?
The shortest route home is 7.3 kilometres.
You don't need Australia's best network until you do.
It's now more important than ever to eat well, to keep well. Light and Easy's winter wellbeing menu gives you over 100 delicious meals to enjoy, all packed full of nutrients to help keep you well. And now we're also giving every customer 10 chances to win $10,000 to help improve their financial wellbeing. Eat well to keep well. Improve your health and financial wellbeing with Australia's #1 healthy meal delivery service. Order from Light and Easy's winter menu for your chance to win.
Not even our competitor's best battery can match the power of Energizer, because Energizer Ultimate Lithium is the longest lasting AA battery in the world. Energizer, backed by science, matched by no one.
Can't wait to show you around the brand new home. Yeah, it is.
The new living room, 7:30 Friday on 10.
Good evening. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend. The new working week begins tomorrow, so let's find out how it all begins weather-wise. Now, on the satellite image, you can see an area of cloud that's approaching the southwest of the country. We've already seen some severe weather here. Meanwhile, to the east, a high-pressure system is the dominant feature. It is pushing a little bit of low cloud, though, for the eastern seaboard, thanks to onshore winds wrapping around that high-pressure system, and it will be a similar setup tomorrow. So that will allow for some showers, but it's also allowing for clear conditions and light winds over much much of the southeast, which is bringing some very chilly overnight temperatures, particularly across Victoria. In the way of rain tomorrow, generally we're seeing 1 to 5 millimetres at most for the New South Wales and Queensland coast, but some very heavy rain, severe thunderstorms and damaging winds. Some wild weather continues for the southwest of the country. In Queensland tomorrow, we are just seeing the slight chance of a shower or two for the east coast, and particularly for the most exposed parts of the coast. For areas such as Fraser Island, Mackay could see a shower or two with a top of 23 degrees, 26 and partly cloudy for Townsville. Now for Brisbane tomorrow, it will be mostly sunny. We'll hit a top of 22 degrees, but there is the chance of a shower or two getting into the Gold Coast and the Sunshine Coast. Remaining dry for Ipswich, 23, 18 degrees on the way for Toowoomba and remaining sunny. For New South Wales tomorrow, we will see some showers for central and northern parts of the coast, and those showers might become a little heavier around the central parts of the coast as well. Anywhere away from the coast, though, it is remaining dry. Orange will hit a top of 11 degrees. It will be sunny, partly cloudy and 13 degrees on the way for Canberra, 14 for Wagga Wagga, a shower or two on the way for Coffs Harbour with a top of 19 degrees. Now for Sydney tomorrow, we could see 1 to 4 millimetres of rain. The rain will be heaviest through the morning and we will see it most frequent near the coast as well. Penrith will remain dry, partly cloudy and 17. Parramatta, a possible shower and a top of 17 degrees. Showers and a top of 15 degrees on the way for Terry Hills and getting to 17 degrees in the city. For Victoria tomorrow, it is all sunny skies here, but those very clear skies will allow for a very chilly morning. We're seeing widespread frost tomorrow. In fact, it could even be colder for Melbourne than it was today. And it will be about 6 degrees below the average, getting down to 1 degree overnight. -2 for Ballarat, warming up to 11 degrees with sunny conditions throughout the day. For Melbourne tomorrow, once the frost clears, we'll warm to a top of 15 degrees, but it might only be around 3 degrees even by 9 a.m. So very cold overnight and a very chilly start to the day. Essendon seeing a top of 15 degrees as well. For Tasmania tomorrow, we will be seeing showers through the west of the state, also through central parts. Southern districts, the chance of a light shower or two, but elsewhere it will remain dry. For Hobart, we're looking at a mostly sunny day and we'll hit a top of 14 degrees. Now for South Australia tomorrow, we're looking at sunny conditions right across the state. We'll see our next front getting into the far west of the state late tomorrow night, but that will slip further southeastward pretty quickly with the next stronger front coming through on Wednesday. So things looking pretty settled for the next few days ahead. Port Lincoln hitting a top of 17 degrees with sunny conditions. Renmark getting to a top of 15 degrees. And for Adelaide tomorrow, a sunny day with a top of 15 degrees. Thank you.
Making news this Sunday, 49 new COVID cases for Victoria, the tough restrictions now being considered for suburbs at the centre of the outbreaks. A woman charged with murdering her ex-partner by running him down in a Sydney car park. And calls for more help for struggling kids, the new program to stop students with learning difficulties falling through the cracks. Return travellers to Victoria who refuse to be tested for COVID-19 will be forced to spend an extra 10 days in hotel quarantine. The new crackdown comes as the state's spike in cases shows no sign of slowing, with the detection of 49 today. The Premier says he'll wait for the results of 40,000 tests carried out across Melbourne hotspots to see if more drastic measures need to be taken.
As testing increases, so too do the number of COVID-19 cases.
Certainly numbers today are big and they've increased day on day.
49 were detected in Victoria in the past 24 hours. 4 are linked to known outbreaks. 26 were found through routine testing, and of most concern, the cause of 19 is still being investigated.
It's much like a bushfire. Putting this out is very challenging. Containing it, though, is something that we can do.
Roughly 3 out of 10 return travellers in hotel quarantine in Victoria have refused to be tested. But now anyone who doesn't comply will be forced to stay in quarantine for an extra 10 days. And the Premier hasn't ruled out fines.
That option remains open to us, and we would look at that if we needed to. But everybody who's leaving today has been tested.
A small number of saliva testing kits have been rolled out, a less painful option than the current nasal swab, while more Defence Force members have been deployed as religious leaders spearhead a push to get the message out.
This is a test from God, and we always ask God to remove this pandemic from the world.
It's been made really accessible. Like, it wasn't very difficult to get here. It was like 2 minutes, and honestly, the line process wasn't not that long. It was fine.
Extra cleaning has been done at the Royal Melbourne's Emergency Department after a staff member tested positive, while 13 Metro Trains employees are isolating after a worker at Flinders Street Station became infected. They had no contact with passengers. So far, 11,000 people have been tested in this blitz targeting suburban hotspots, and at the moment, the average time to get those results back is 3 days. Authorities are hoping that wait time isn't putting people off being tested, because otherwise this could be a missed opportunity to stop the spread of the virus. The government is now waiting on the results of tens of thousands of tests before deciding what comes next, with tough new measures like locking down suburbs still being considered.
Just because you want it to be over doesn't mean that it is over.
Annie Kearney for 10 News First.
South Australia is preparing for its most significant rollback of restrictions. From tomorrow, all venues can have one person per 2 square metres, equivalent to around 50% normal capacity with no cap on numbers. Even large venues such as Adelaide Oval and nightclubs can open as long as health authorities approve their COVID-19 management plans.
And that's going to stand up thousands and thousands of jobs as of tomorrow, and that's great for our economy.
South Australia is set to lift all border restrictions on July 20, but Premier Stephen Marshall says he's now very concerned about the situation in Victoria. A woman is behind bars tonight accused of running down and killing her ex-partner. Police say Payman Thagapur was crushed against the wall of a car park at his Sydney apartment block. Michael Hammond has more.
Grieving friends of Payman Thagapur have been visiting the scene today, some unaware of the tragedy which has claimed his life. The 30-year-old was hit by a car and pinned against a wall, allegedly by his ex-partner, Jacqueline Musa.
He was best friend like my brother.
Detectives claim the former lovers had a heated argument in his Wentworth Point apartment in Sydney's West before he met his violent end.
He was the legend. He was, like, as I said, affectionate. He was kind, very nice person.
Police were the first on scene and did all they could to try to save Mr Thagapur, but his injuries proved too severe.
The police quickly went straight over to the victim, I suppose you could call him, and tried resuscitation.
Yeah, the scene was obviously very chaotic and quite traumatic.
Musa was also treated for a fractured wrist before being arrested and charged with murder. Police say they had never been made aware of any violence or threats between the pair in the past.
The New South Wales Police Force takes very seriously all reports of domestic violence, and domestic violence perpetrators will be dealt with accordingly.
The 49-year-old stayed in the cells as her case was briefly mentioned in court today. Her family was surprised at her arrest.
What sort of person is Jacqueline?
She's my mother.
Yeah.
She's normal. Like, there's no murder. What are you talking about?
Musa will remain behind bars as prosecutors build what they say is a strong case against her.
The entire incident was captured on CCTV, and a number of witnesses who were in the apartment complex.
Tonight, this community is simply horrified that one of its own is the latest alleged victim of domestic violence.
Michael Hammond reporting there, and if you or someone you know is a victim of domestic violence, there is support. Call the 24-hour hotline 1-800-RESPECT, 1-800-737-732. The government has today hosed down reports welfare wages could permanently increase by $75 a week. Questions are mounting over the future of JobSeeker and JobKeeper post-pandemic, but the government won't be making any announcements until late next month.
The pressure is on once again for a permanent increase to welfare payments.
Everybody knows in their heart, including the Prime Minister, that we cannot go back to the brutality of trying to live on just $40 a day if you don't have a job.
Apparently, this push is also coming from inside the government, at least according to this headline. A report in the Sunday Telegraph suggesting a permanent $75 increase to job seeker payments is being considered.
It is an inadequate payment. It doesn't allow people to live with dignity.
But Anne Ruston moved quickly to put an end to speculation.
Given I'm the Social Services Minister, you'd like to think that I'd be aware of it. So it's factually incorrect. And right now, my focus, as the whole government's focus is on, is to help Australians to get through this pandemic.
The Morrison government needs to stop playing cruel games with over 2 million people in Australia.
Every day, questions are being asked about the future of JobKeeper beyond its September cut-off date. But the Social Services Minister wouldn't be drawn on the future when questioned today.
At the time, we said they were targeted, they were temporary, they were measured, and they still are, and we are working in that environment of transition at the moment. We are not looking at the long term.
The government has received a final draft of a review into JobKeeper, but it's keeping a lid on its findings until the end of July. This is when the Treasurer will announce what lies ahead.
You can't keep a secret like that until after the Eden Monaro by-election. Scott Morrison needs to come clean.
I assure the government that everybody today who was affected by the ravages of unemployment is thinking now about the future.
Stella Todorovic for 10 News First.
New South Wales Labor will seek to suspend Upper House MP Shochet Musselman from Parliament over his alleged links to China. Federal agents raided Mr Musselman's home and party office on Friday as part of an ASIO investigation into potential Chinese Communist Party influence. Labor's decision comes a day after the state government said it would do the same.
This is a Labor issue and it needs to be the Labor Party that fixes this issue. Resigning from Parliament is up to him at this particular point. Only Mr Musselman knows the extent of this investigation.
No charges against Mr Musselman have been laid. A terrifying car crash has been captured on camera. The driver of this Ford Falcon fell asleep at the wheel and ended up on the wrong side of a busy Melbourne highway. Dashcam pictures show the car veering onto the median strip and crashing into roadside safety barriers before ending up in oncoming traffic. Miraculously, the driver didn't hit any cars and was not seriously injured. Dyslexia advocates are calling for a new program to be introduced into more classrooms to stop students from falling through the cracks. The simple test would help teachers identify children likely to struggle with their literacy and lead to early intervention.
Little Oscar's got the playground down pat, but his dyslexia means he's finding it a bit harder when it comes to reading and writing.
It felt like you didn't feel the same like all your other friends. And it felt very frustrating.
Mum Melanie's worried her son is falling behind his classmates at a crucial point in his learning.
All children with dyslexia are very bright. So obviously, then you're looking at them thinking, why can't you do this? Why are we having trouble reading?
Dyslexia advocates say the condition can be overcome, provided it's identified early so kids can get proper support. But if ignored, the impact of struggling to read can be severe.
With anxiety, depression, cases of self-harm, it's very detrimental to the children and it prohibits future career outcomes.
The Queensland opposition wants to introduce a phonics test into Year 1 classrooms, which would help teachers identify students likely to have dyslexia. Similar programs have run in South Australia and shown a 92% diagnosis success rate.
It is important that we do secure these kids' future. It is important that we do everything possible to give our kids the best education.
The program would only cost $1 million to initiate, but would mean kids like Oscar could get back to focusing on the important stuff. Joe Hill for 10 News First.
Coming up next, an exclusive look inside an eco-wonderland that's becoming the country's newest national park. Plus, the rest of the day's sports news, the Sharks tear apart a Sea Eagles side, missing Tommy Turbo. And a nasty injury to an All-Australian as the Cats and Demons play rough.
What went wrong with the COVID tracking app? 6:30.
It's the Elimination Challenge Reynolds didn't see coming.
I am not a classic cook at all.
And for the Dessert King, his classic dessert will turn into a classic mistake.
You haven't mentioned sponge.
What sponge?
Does it need a sponge?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I think I screwed up. Things keep screwing up for me. I hate this feeling right now. I could be going home. Trying not to give up. I'm so stressed. I think I'm going home.
Will Reynolds go? 7:30 tonight.
Don't forget, everything you buy at Officeworks before June 30 could be tax deductible.
Did you say everything?
Did you say everything? Did I hear everything? I heard everything. Everything? Everything? Did you say
Everything?
Yes, everything you buy before June 30 could be tax deductible. Officeworks, helping you make bigger things happen.
Cookie people, cream people, crumbs people, clean people, twist people, lick people, dunk people, munch people. It's on the play, people. If you twist, lick, dunk, then you're my people. We are Oreo people.
Create a healthy home with the asthma and allergy-friendly Breeze carpet range and Dunlop Comfort Choice underlay only at Choices Flooring. Buy them together and go into the draw to win a Dyson a day. Visit your nearest Choices Flooring showroom and breathe easy.
Thanks for calling ING. This is Adam speaking. How can I help you? No, I'm currently working from home.
Oh, you can call anytime, so...
Sorry. And she's currently nibbling at my toe right now.
Yeah, working from home was a bit tricky at first, but...
There's definitely been some stray farts, hasn't there, mate?
And now your loan's on a fixed rate. Can I help you with anything else?
No, you've made my day.
Well, whatever 2020 throws at you, we're here for a chat anytime.
Too easy.
Fast track your weight loss success and improve your health with Jumpstart by Light and Easy.
Within those first couple of weeks, I noticed a difference within myself.
I found results straight away, and for me, Light and Easy has been life-changing.
Jumpstart your health and weight loss goals today, and you could be jumping for joy because we're giving every customer 10 chances to win $10,000. To jumpstart your success and go into the draw, visit lightandeasy.com.au or call 13 15 12 today.
Oh dear, it looks like she's not feeling too good. A cup of Lemsip Max should do the trick. Its all-in-one formula fights 8 major cold and flu symptoms. Try the power of Lemsip, now available in capsules.
You wash loads, but do you ever wash your washing machine? Every load leaves behind grime and, what's that smell? PinoClean Washing Machine Cleaner removes 99.9% of germs, leaving it clean and fresh for longer. It's not clean unless it's PinoClean.
A 28-minute bike ride needs the same amount of energy as it takes to power 3 gaming consoles. What powers you? Uncle Toby's, Australia's favourite oats.
1, 2, 3, 4. So clap it back. Hey, clap, clap. So clap it back.
Centrum provides multiple health benefits in just one tablet. Centrum, complete from A to Zinc.
New South Wales is set to have a new conservation area twice the size of the ACT, and you're about to see it in this 10 News First TV exclusive. National Parks has made the biggest private land purchase in history to create a new park, a 153,500 hectare cattle station called Narriara, held by the same family for a century near the New South Wales-Queensland border. Indigenous and European history is everywhere on the place, and coupled with Sturt National Park next door, it's a chance to save Australian wildlife and precious habitat on a grand scale.
They call this corner country, where the New South Wales, Queensland and South Australian borders meet. And we're tagging along as Environment Minister Matt Keane gets his first look at it. His new national park showcases red desert country and some of the oldest landscapes in Australia. Also unique to this place, depending on rainfall year to year, vast wetlands and semi-permanent lakes. The water comes from the Bellew River, which starts in the middle of nowhere in Queensland and ends in the middle of nowhere here. There's not an ecosystem like it in any other national park in New South Wales. The gateway to Corner Country is the outback town of Tibooburra, population officially 134. First Australians lived here for thousands of years, different desert mobs linked together as a nation. European explorers arrived in the mid-1800s. 2 Burke and Wills campsites are on this new park. By 1900, this was cattle country, with giant stations triple the size of Narriara. You talk to National Park staff and they say there's nothing obvious or grand about this place apart from the big skies, but there are little gems everywhere.
There's a stone tall flake there, Chris. So it's got jagged edges, sharp edges. So that's something that's been worked by hand. So probably a flake off the edge of a stone tool that was made potentially hundreds or thousands of years ago.
It's tough country, dry for years, but when it's wet, it explodes into life. The Karyapundi Swamp, the great drain of the Baloo River, is the jewel in this new park's crown. Tens of thousands of birds turn up in a wet year.
This Baloo overflow country has got species that aren't conserved well in New South Wales, and the dry country as well is different to what's reserved in Sturt National Park.
Well, this is the biggest single addition of private land to the National Park network in the state's history.
Wow, how did you get that through?
How did we get it through? Hard negotiation, but we knew the importance of this piece of land. We knew the critically endangered species here. We knew the importance of the inland wetlands and the cultural and European values. So we just had to get it.
Professor Richard Kingsford, who spent his life in the air researching Australia's wetlands, is thrilled.
When we did aerial surveys over there, we've had more than 100,000 birds. It's really important to protect areas like this in Australia because we're losing areas in the Murray-Darling Basin, and there aren't many of these places that flood from free-flowing rivers the way this does, and support incredible biodiversity.
If they get the conservation right here, along with the neighbouring Sturt National Park, there's a real chance to provide a safe haven for many of Australia's most endangered species. Not such a safe haven for humans yet. Once park staff assess their newest asset and the park has a name, they hope to welcome visitors this time next year.
It is spectacular. One of the days when I absolutely loved my job. It was a real privilege to see it. Time for sport now with Ros Kelly, and Ros, Manly clearly missing their number one.
Chris, life without Tom Trbojevic in the team isn't easy for the Sea Eagles. Missing their star fullback, they've been hammered by the Sharks. Cronulla have a poor record against Manly, but scored 3 first-half tries.
Moylan links up with Ramian, who ran a super line and he will not be stopped.
Cronulla crossing for 7 tries in all and withstood a mini comeback from the Sea Eagles. It finished 40 points to 22. The Sharks celebrating just their 3rd win against Manly since 2008. Geelong defender Tom Stewart suffered a suspected broken collarbone during the first quarter of the Cats' clash with Melbourne at the MCG. In the lowest scoring first half of this season, the Demons had the edge at the main break, but they let the Cats back in with some sloppy defending.
How could they not be switched onto that? Dangerfield from 50 out. How can Melbourne not be ready for that? Everyone knew about it.
Geelong with 4 goals in the third quarter and a 17-point lead at the turn for home. Patrick Dangerfield put his body on the line as always. This head clash resulted in concerns over his jaw, but the superstar returned to the ground, although a little wobbly in front of goal. The Cats just held on for a 3-point win. Brisbane has continued its high-flying start to the 2020 season, cruising to a 37-point victory over Adelaide. Former Crow Charlie Cameron set the Gabba alight with some electrifying play.
Charlie bends it around the body. Brilliant. Charlie, hugely mark of the year contender.
The only concern for the Lions was another injury to co-captain Dane Zorko, who left the field in the second term and didn't return. Holden's Nick Percat claimed his third career supercars win this afternoon, pipping Jamie Whincup in his 500th race, with Scott McLaughlin coming in third. But McLaughlin was back in the winner's circle in the third race of the weekend to go 49 points clear in the championship.
Scott McLaughlin grabs 100 points at Sydney Motorsport Park for what was a very profitable weekend.
We can do as many cartoon races as we want, but there's nothing like going out there for the very first time and revving the engine off the start. The main thing was solid results, solid qualifying, and that's exactly what we did. We ticked a lot of boxes this weekend.
The weekend's racing was the sport's return from a COVID-19 hiatus. The series now moves to Winton, Victoria, in a fortnight. And that is the latest in sport this Sunday afternoon. Heaps of injuries across both the AFL and NRL. Chris, we will have the latest on those in 10 News First during the week.
Yes, let's hope Mitchell Moses makes a speedy recovery. No bias.
Not biased or anything.
Ross. Go Parramatta. Coming up next, a check of the day's top stories and Amanda Jason with your weather for the week ahead.
Is that chick from Badger Season?
Yeah, she's so hot.
Britt is absolutely gorgeous.
He really took me by surprise. Something about him that I want to get to know more.
I might be in trouble.
Bachelor in Paradise starts July 15.
Domino's $5 pizzas are incredible value. They're made with fresh dough and vine-ripened tomato sauce, topped with stretchy and tastier mozzarella, and served with total peace of mind, thanks to zero contact pickup from Domino's.
If you're experiencing abdominal bloating, wind, constipation or diarrhea, or if you're looking to maintain a healthy immune system, here's some good news. Introducing new Caruso's Once Daily Probiotic. Caruso's Once Daily Probiotic contains 32 billion live friendly bacteria that may help to relieve abdominal bloating, wind, constipation, diarrhea and support healthy immune system function. Caruso's Once Daily Probiotic is made in Australia and comes with a money-back guarantee. Caruso's Once Daily Probiotic is available from leading pharmacies and health stores.
Keep everyone entertained. Add on Xbox All Access and play for 3 months on us. Visit telstra.com/Xbox today.
At Coles, we're helping lower the cost of dinner with everyone's favourite Coles chicken drumsticks. Down to just $4 a kilo for a large pack. And to find delicious chicken recipes, visit coles.com.au. Coles, good things, great value.
Instant asset write-off this tax time at Harvey Norman. Buy and install an item less than $150,000 before June 30, and eligible businesses may claim an immediate deduction in this year's tax return. This is a huge incentive. Let us put together a package to suit your business needs. But hurry, buy and install items before June 30 to claim in this year's tax return. Instant asset write-off this tax time at Harvey Norman. Tax law is complex. Before you purchase, seek professional advice to determine whether your business is eligible.
Go! When you want to get out, dive in and reunite in a place you'll always remember. Start planning your escape now. Go to brillianttravels.com.au and register to win one of 4 Dream Island holidays. Sounds like a brilliant idea.
The CSIRO Total Wellbeing Diet is the way to keep your weight down and your spirits up.
I've got so much energy, I love it.
Our successful members lose 3 times more weight with this scientifically proven online program, combining personalised menus, exercises and new positive psychology tools.
Doesn't make me feel like I'm on any type of diet or eating plan at all. I lost 12 kilos in the first 12 weeks and got a full refund.
Be like Adele. Lose weight and get your refund at totalwellbeingdiet.com.
Why don't you come? Why don't you come? Pleasure's all mine, never getting old. If you're looking for me, I'll be dancing in my own way.
New challenges, new jobs. Wherever you go in life, Host Plus is the industry super fund that goes with you. The fund that puts members first, every day. Host Plus. Wherever life takes you, we go with you.
Hammering down restrictions to get an outbreak under control. Then as we lift the restrictions, dancing away.
Sanjay, I was always taught you should dance and then hammer.
Unless you're talking about MC Hammer.
Well, in that case, it's hammer time.
That's right.
He'll come back, right?
Join us live next on The Sunday Project.
Tonight's top stories: mandatory COVID-19 testing for return travellers is now being enforced in Victoria. Anyone who refuses will be forced to stay in hotel quarantine for an extra 10 days. The move follows a surge in cases, with another 49 confirmed there today. A woman has been charged with murder after a man was allegedly deliberately hit by a car and pinned against a wall in a Sydney car park last night. Police claim the pair, who were previously in a relationship, had a heated argument before the incident. Officers also say they're not aware of any previous domestic violence between the couple. And after a 5-year absence, big cats are back at Sydney's Taronga Zoo. The animals are the star attraction of the zoo's new $32 million African savanna precinct. Other animals in residence include giraffes, zebras and meerkats.
Good evening. Let's take a look at what the weather's looking like for the week ahead. At the moment, we have a cold front that's been impacting the southwest of the country, bringing some severe weather, but we won't see that impacting the east in the next couple of days because this high pressure system is the dominant feature, keeping things settled. It is causing some onshore winds for parts of Tasmania tomorrow, which will drive in some showers, and also coastal parts of New South Wales and Queensland. We can expect very cold nights as well, thanks to clear skies through inland parts of the southeast. For Brisbane, it will remain dry tomorrow, though we could see a shower for the Sunshine Coast and the Gold Coast. Fine and 22 degrees tomorrow, so feeling a little warmer than where we got to today. A top of 22 on Tuesday, warming to 24, then 25 degrees by Friday. For Sydney tomorrow, we are going to see some showers, particularly near the coast, with a top of 17 degrees, and then the week is looking dry. 19 and fine on Tuesday, warming to 21 on Wednesday, even a top of 23 degrees by Thursday, so certainly feeling a lot warmer. For Melbourne, tonight will be a very cold night. Temperatures will dip down to 1 degree, warming to 15 degrees tomorrow, and then those nights will get a little warmer. A top of 15 degrees on Tuesday, 17 on on Wednesday with sunny conditions. A late shower possible. Certainly by Thursday we'll see some showers pushing through, and that could continue through the second half of the week. For Hobart tomorrow, it will be partly cloudy with a top of 14 degrees, remaining fine on Tuesday and Wednesday. We will see the chance of showers returning from around Thursday, and conditions will cool down a little as well. Sunny skies for Adelaide tomorrow, top of 15 degrees, 16 and partly cloudy on Tuesday, with some showers developing on Wednesday, and that will continue for the next few days from there. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Amanda. And that is 10 News First for tonight. I'm Chris Barth. Thanks for your company. See you next weekend. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.